Today we are going to shed some light on Solaredge. Stick around. Welcome to Framework Fortune. I'm your host Ben, and this is Ben's Stock Reviews, where you suggest a stock in the comments below. I'll take a look at it and give you my thoughts on it. Today's stock is Solaredge, ticker symbol SEDG, and this was suggested by viewer Frank Castillo. I apologize if I butchered your name. I'm not great with names. So, if you want to stay updated with all these stock review videos or follow the Day Trading Small Account Challenge, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. So let's jump into Solaredge and see what it's about. So one of the first things I always do is throw the stock in Yahoo Finance just to look at the statistics to see what's kind of going on with the stock. You can see here that we have a price of $93.50 today. So it's a higher price stock. It's a $1 billion market cap stock. And we want to look for positives on this Yahoo Finance page. 10% profit margin. They're making a profit. That's good. It's not a huge profit margin, but it's decent. 52-week low, $32, and the high is $95. So this stock can move. 52-week change, 149%. So return on assets, 8%. They're making money off their assets. Return on equity, they're making money. So let's check the float. Float is always important. 45 million. That's a pretty low float, especially for such a high-priced stock. Held by insiders, 5.81%. Held by institutions, 93.93%. That is a lot of institutions holding this stock. And usually when you have a lot of institutions holding the stock, it's probably a pretty decent stock because they are holding it for a reason. So revenue, 1.1 billion. They are making a lot of money. 43% revenue growth quarterly. We got a gross profit of $319 million, so that's a pretty nice profit. Total cash, $292 million. So they got a lot of cash, not too much debt. They don't have any dividends. Usually if I'm investing long term in a stock, I want to see some dividends because dividend stocks are great, but that's okay. Doesn't always mean that it's a bad stock. Amazon doesn't give dividends, and you see how much that stock is worth. So a lot of positive numbers on the statistics, so that's a good thing. I like a lot of what I'm seeing with this company. Okay, so here is their website, and right off the bat you can tell it's a pretty website. They've spent some time on this, so that's a good thing. I always like to check websites and make sure that they have a good website. It's 2019, you should have a good website if you're $1 million company. So right off the bat, we power the future. PV professionals, homeowners, world leader in smart energy. That's a big claim. Business owners. So here at the bottom we have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. They've got a lot of social media going on. That's a good thing. You want to have social media presence because everybody communicates through social media nowadays. If you're not, you're behind times and you're probably not a good stock to invest in. So we want to dive into the About Us page, see what that's all about. They have a fact sheet here, but I don't want to go into that. I don't want to download that. We really probably don't need that. If you're going to long-term invest, I do suggest checking that out, see what it's about. Since its IPO, it shows significant growth in revenue and gross margin. We kind of saw that on the statistics. They're the preferred partner for industry-leading installers, integrators, and other energy market participants. So they've got a bunch of systems throughout the world, so they are a global company, 130 plus countries. That's pretty cool. See some milestones. So they've only been on the NASDAQ here for 3 years, and they've won some awards, so that's always good too. Okay, so here we're going to check out the CEO and see if they've got a really strong leader. So he just became CEO in August. So he's got a degree in chemical engineering. He's an author of several publications in the field of chemical disposition. So he's obviously a pretty smart guy. He's had some experience in the industry. So that's pretty cool. So if you want to know more about the leadership, you can always go and check out all these different people. But the CEO, the acting CEO is a new CEO. It's a little sketchy, but not a big deal. He does have a lot of merits in the industry, so that's good. And if you go to their investor homepage, you can get some more information on the stock. They got events coming up, a earnings call on November 6th. So you can find out about their earnings there, and you can sign up to receive email alerts from them. So overall, their website's pretty good. It's very organized, very nice graphics. Everything looks good on that. I like that. Alright guys, so the website looks pretty good. They've got some pretty good numbers. We're going to take a look at this chart. This is the 1 year chart. We'll look at that, and the 3 year chart, and see what kind of information we can gather from that. So the first thing I noticed looking at this stock, this is the highest that this stock has ever been. $95, it's its top price. It's really high up there, but this seems to be a really good company, so I could see that. And maybe it could potentially break $100 if they continue to grow with these earnings calls coming up. I'll definitely probably wait for a pullback. And you can see right now as well, the stock is bullish. It is above all 3 moving averages. But at this point in time, it is quite a bit of ways off of that 50-day moving average. So I would be really careful. Like I said, it's pretty high up, so it could have a pullback here soon, especially if they come out with bad earnings. The idea entry on this play would probably be if they come out with earnings and they're not very good earnings this time, or they're not as good as they normally are. This stock could have a nice little crash down, and then you might could get it at a lot cheaper price, maybe that $75 range instead of way up here at $95. Now, on the other hand, if they come out with really good earnings and they beat earnings, it is possible that you could see this stock over $100. It could go either way, but definitely I would wait till earnings to see what the earnings are and how the market reacts to them. Because I've seen stocks come out with good earnings and crash, and seen them come out with bad earnings and rip. So you never really know until those earnings come out and how the market's going to react. And then after that, you can make a decision whether you'd want to get in on this play or not. Now, if you look on this 3 year chart here, I've drawn this trend line, and it is way off of this trend line. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. This stock is so high up. And this line here is another trend line. It's on the 1 year chart, and we'll look at that in a second. In 3 years, this stock has moved quite a bit. So this is the yearly chart, and you can see this stock is on a pretty steep trend line right now. You really don't want stocks to be on that steep of a trend line because that can crack pretty easy. But you could get an entry when it comes back down to this trend line, and maybe in a good position there. Now, another thing I noticed is there was a lot of resistance at $90. This candle, these few candles here, these candles here, and then once it broke through $90, it got this move up to this 95 area. So with that being resistance before, that's going to hold up as some type of support now. So you do have some support around $90 that you could possibly look for an entry at. If you're looking for an entry in this stock for a long-term hold, say you want to hold this for like 10 years, I would definitely wait for it to come back down some because it is so high right now. If you're looking for a swing trade on this stock, I would definitely wait till after earnings, because swinging into earnings is pretty gambly in my opinion, and then wait for it to dip back down again to that trend line and maybe buy there. And then when it gets another bounce off of that trend line, you could sell in a couple days or maybe a couple weeks, depending on how fast the stock moves, and it could be a decent swing trade. As far as day trading, while this stock can make some moves in one day, I don't see it being a great day trade just because of that high price. Just remember, always do your own due diligence and research a company first before you buy a stock. Never take anybody's word or buy a stock because somebody told you to. So overall, this stock is a pretty solid stock. It's a pretty solid company. Looks like it's a new technology coming up, so it has a lot of potential, definitely. If you're looking for a long-term hold, I would definitely wait till it has some type of pullback. If you're looking for a swing trade, definitely wait till after earnings to see how it reacts to that, and wait for some type of pullback. So, great suggestion. That's going to be it for this episode of Ben's Stock Reviews. If you want a stock reviewed, be sure to leave a comment below with the stock ticker symbol or the company name, and I will do a review on it. You've been watching Framework Fortune. I'm your host, Ben.